He picked her up from the bottom of the sea, but what he didn't know was that she had been awake the entire time. Part 2, his name is Elias, and he's a fisherman just like his father before him. He has lived by the sea all his life. His house is right next to the beach. Every day he would wake up early in the morning, grab his fishing rod, and try his luck at catching the biggest fish in the ocean. But today was different. When Elias arrived at the shore, it was pitch black. The sky had a thick fog covering the moon and stars. The waves were crashing so violently against the sand that he almost couldn't stand. But Elias was not afraid. Instead, he felt excited. Storms meant big fish, and the bigger the fish, the bigger the profit. So with a smile on his face, he began casting his line into the raging sea. But after an hour of not catching anything, his smile slowly faded away. There was not a single bite. Just as he was about to give up, something caught his line. At first, it was just a little tug, so he thought it must have been a seaweed or some other piece of trash. But then the line went taut. The hook had been set, and whoever was on the other side was now trying to run away. All his strength, Elias pulled back. The fight lasted for a few minutes, but eventually he managed to get the creature out of the water. Only when it was lying on the sand did he realize that it was a mermaid. She was extremely beautiful with emerald green hair, a tail as blue as the ocean, and skin as white as pearl. But even though she was stunning, Elias felt no sympathy for her. He had heard countless stories of mermaids luring sailors to their deaths and stealing their riches. So without wasting any time, he grabbed a knife and cut off her head. The blood squirted everywhere, staining the sand a deep crimson red. But Elias didn't care. He had just secured himself a hefty profit. He would sell her head for a lot of money. Only when the authorities came to buy it did he hear what she had to say. Whoever kills a mermaid shall be granted one wish. Though skeptical, Elias decided to test his luck. "I want all the money in your kingdom," he said, thinking that there was no way such a wish could possibly be granted. But then suddenly, sacks of gold appeared in front of him. They were heavy too, so Elias asked the guards to take them to his house. Back at his home, he emptied the sacks onto the floor, then counted the gold coins. It was more than he could ever imagine. He would never have to work another day in his life. But that same night, he heard chains dragging metal moans. Then a blood-curdling scream echoed through the darkness. The next morning, the villagers found Elias's body hanging from a tree. His skin had turned a sickly green, and his eyes were wide with terror. In his hand, he was clutching a piece of paper. On it was written, "Beware the price of greed." But the story doesn't end there. In fact, there's much more to it than meets the eye. Because the truth is that Elias wasn't the first to kill a mermaid. There had been many before him, each with their own unique story. And none of them had ended well. Part 3, a young girl sat on the edge of the pier, swinging her legs over the water. Her name was Lily, and she was known throughout the village as the mermaid. It's Whisper, because she had the uncanny ability to befriend the mystical creatures. One day, a terrible storm struck, trapping Lily on the island while all the boats were being repaired. This meant that she wouldn't be able to visit her family for the holidays. But then a massive wave crashed over her, knocking her off the pier and into the churning waters below. As she struggled to keep her head above the surface, Lily saw a glimmer of light coming from beneath the water. Thinking it might be a life-saving ring, she dove down after it only to find a cave filled with mermaids. They had emerald green hair, pale skin, and fishy tails. They were staring at Lily with glowing yellow eyes. Well, a human," one of the mermaids said, breaking the silence. "What brings you here?" Lily stammered, trying to explain that she had fallen off the pier. "We know what brought you here, child," the mermaid interrupted. "And if you want to go back to your precious land, you will have to pay the price." Lily didn't know what they were talking about. "What price?" she asked, confused. "The price for trespassing in our territory is your life," the mermaid said, baring its sharp teeth. Suddenly, one of the other mermaids swam in front of Lily, blocking her view of the others. "Wait, I don't want her to die," the mermaid said. I want to see what kind of person she really is." The other mermaids seemed to like this idea, so they let Lily go and allowed her to stay with them in the cave until the storm passed. Over the next few days, Lily learned that the mermaids weren't so scary after all. They liked to sing and dance and tell stories. And they even let Lily join in on their coral reef cleanup efforts. When the storm finally passed and Lily's friends came to rescue her, she was sad to leave. But before she went, the lead mermaid gave her a necklace made of pearls and seashells. "This will allow you to breathe underwater," the mermaid said. "Use it wisely." Back on land, Lily realized that the necklace was magic. It allowed her to swim underwater and talk to the mermaids. She used her newfound powers to help others. She rescued drowning sailors and delivered messages between humans and mermaids. But not everyone was happy about this. Some fishermen hated the mermaids because they took away their catch, and they begged Lily to use her powers to lure the creatures away from the fishing grounds. She refused, of course, but the fishermen weren't happy about this. They threatened to kill her if she didn't do as they asked, and soon enough, they cornered her on the pier. "Give us what we want, and we won't hurt you," one of the fishermen said, brandishing a knife. But Lily knew that the fishermen would kill her even if she agreed. So instead, she took out the necklace and put it around her neck. As soon as the pearls touched her skin, her body began to glow. The fishermen shielded their eyes from the bright light, and when they looked back, Lily was gone. They searched the water, but they couldn't find her anywhere. She had vanished into the depths of the sea. Now, do you think Lily was smart to use her powers to escape? Or do you think the fishermen were justified in wanting her to help them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching.